Hello and welcome to Events Explained, the Honda Celebration of Light. How do you get a 500,000 people in and out of the corner of downtown Vancouver to watch one of the biggest fireworks displays in Canada on 3 hot nights of the summer with minimal issues and maximum fun? Well, the Honda Celebration of Light is BC's largest public event and the longest running offshore musical fireworks competition in the world, occurring annually in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. The Honda Celebration of Light draws millions of spectators to the shores of English Bay each year, where 3 countries compete with spectacular fireworks displays over 3 summer nights. The multiple day event has an estimated annual attendance of 1.4 million people. That's close to 500,000 each night and a budget close to $1 million. Have you ever wondered what goes into producing such a large community festival and international fireworks competition event like this? Well, I had the pleasure and challenge of being the event producer for the Honda Celebration of Light fireworks competition in 2014 and 2015 for the 25th anniversary when I was part of the Brand Live group. Brand Live Management Group is an event production agency and production and creative work based in Vancouver, Canada, that has been tasked with producing the Honda Celebration of Light for over a decade. But what makes this particular event that you see here, I should say see here, I guess, has has been a particularly challenging event because it is so unique. It is actually owned and controlled by a nonprofit organization. A lot of people don't know this. The Vancouver Fireworks Festival Society is the not-for-profit society that oversees the Celebration of Light Fireworks Festival. This society was established in 2001 and is run totally by a dedicated group of volunteer board of directors, all from the local business community. The society decides high-level direction and focus, but the event management company drives all the planning, logistics, programming, all the hard work, if you will. Now, before we get into the planning, here's a bit of history for you on this event. Originally named the Symphony of Fire, the Honda Celebration of Light has come a long way since 1990. It was formerly known as the Benson and Hedges Symphony of Fire and the HSBC Celebration of Light, even enduring a short time of being known as the Celebration of Fights due to a little less savory reputation for public drunkenness and debauchery. Uh, Now it's cleaned its act up quite a bit and is recognized as the longest running offshore fireworks festival in the world. It continues to host countries to compete each year in a spectacular fireworks display. How it's planned. Well, how is it decided, first of all, what countries are going to showcase their fireworks each year? What actually happens on that fireworks barge that you see out in the water? How do you get 500,000 people in and out of the corner of downtown Vancouver safely? And who pays for it all? Well, let's go a little bit deeper. Planning for next year's event starts as soon as this year has wrapped up. It takes almost the full year to plan the events. It begins with a review of what worked well and what didn't from last year, and any feedback or any new ideas that may have come up. Even though the fireworks are the main attraction, there is a whole community festival that entertains attendees while they wait for the Big Bang. The annual budget for the event hovers around, like I said, a million to 1.5 million, and the majority of that revenue comes from grants and sponsorships. Government of Canada and the province of BC provide cultural grants, and the city of Vancouver provides mainly in-kind support, including use of the park itself, traffic management for things like street closures, barricades, directing traffic staff, waste management, signage, emergency services, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. Honda, as the title sponsor since 2012, provides a substantial contribution to the event in return for top-tier marketing benefits. Many other major community sponsors for varying levels of marketing benefits, including area naming, and you're seeing a bunch of that in the videos that I'm rolling here of the Celebration of Light 2014 and the Honda Celebration of Light 2015. The naming is an interesting aspect. Always a challenge to get people to use the full name, but that's the benefit you get as a title sponsor. And I know for sure when I was planning the events, we always called it the full name, Honda Celebration of Light. And others didn't, but we did. Sponsorship should value all three parts of the sponsor relationship. So it benefits the event by putting on great content. It benefits the sponsor in the marketing and advertising aspect of what people get. But it should also provide some value to the audience, either in the content that you get, or maybe they provide a service or the naming rights of a particular area. Or some sort of part of the programming. Each year, the event planner works with the sponsorship sales team to create and design new and exciting activations and on-site displays for partners to keep and attract attention for those arriving early. As you see here, there was one year that we actually did the Red Bull Air Show before the big fireworks show, just to keep people amused. The Port of Vancouver fireboats also often come out and do the big display of their hose shows and things like that. Of course, finding and holding the perfect spot to view the fireworks can become quite a challenge when you're competing with 500,000 people for a little piece of real estate. Attendees start showing up pretty early to set up camp. And the event planner's challenge is to provide them not only the entertainment and activities to keep them amused while they're waiting, but also the creature comforts that you think of, like bathrooms, food, shade. Historically, we've engaged with the port's fireboats, as I mentioned, for the water show. We even had a flyboard jetpack show, I think in 2014, was pretty cool. Historically, again, the main attraction for the attendees used to be a concert stage on the boathouse roof facing the beach. This stage featured some amazing breakout artists over the years. Serena Ryder, Chilliwack came, and many other up and coming artists that have got big since their start on the on the bathhouse roof at English Bay. It's also a great opportunity for sponsor activations, filling that time in the afternoon with some games or things to look at or have fun with. And then there was a community initiative stage as well at Sunset Beach with a beer garden one year. Every year it becomes a new challenge of what do we offer and where in order to keep people amused and keep people interested. We want to spread out the arrival time of those 500,000 people. So people coming down at noon or 1 o'clock are helpful to the overall traffic plan so that not everybody's trying to arrive all at once at 8 o'clock just before fireworks. Sponsors actually are really the key to making this event happen. It's not owned by the city. It's not owned by any one company or organization. It is all run by a nonprofit group. And so they do find ways to help monetize the event. It is a free, family fun event. But part of the purpose of coming up with the viewing areas that we now see is revenue generating, but it's also to make it more comfortable for families and um, and older people and those that have a little bit of challenge in navigating a crowd like this on any given day. So organized viewing areas were a relatively recent addition to the Honda Celebration of Light. They only came in, we had the bleachers, which were an area that you could have, but things like the other viewing areas that have been set up on the bathhouse roof, as well as down at the Inukshuk Point, were created for two purposes. One, to give sponsors somewhere to activate and brand and have presence, but also to allow more opportunities at varying tiers for guests and attendees to have somewhere to go and have somewhere to feel comfortable attending without dealing with crowds like this. So these, while the event is free, and that's important to remember, all the people finding a place on the beach are attending for free. But we did want to provide an opportunity for those that were willing to pay a little extra for a reserved and comfortable spot to view the fireworks. This helped not only, like I say, stagger audience arrival times, give family those little extra comforts that they need, such as bathrooms and a guaranteed seat, but also as a revenue generator to provide VIP, more exclusive spots at a premium for those that were interested in those. The Concord Pacific Grandstand was one of the first that came out. Inukshuk Point here, let me talk about that first. The Inukshuk Point was in the videos you saw in the years that I produced Clearly Contacts, a spectacle place to watch. It was a sophisticated atmosphere, so great for hosting for a lot of corporate people, great viewing spots. Provided a lot of opportunities for people to have somewhere for an elevated experience. It was introduced in 2015, if I remember correctly. The Scotiabank Lounge used to be known as the Keg Lounge, was where sponsors primarily were. A few VIP expensive tickets were available for purchase because you were side stage for the concert all evening. 19 plus food and beverage was available to order and was complimentary for sponsors and a lot of people, provided by the keg, which was amazing. It was wonderful. premium spot, now called the Scotiabank Lounge. It's premium viewing, of course, 19 plus, food and beverage from Stanley Park Brew Pub. It's quite the location for sure. Um, and of course, like I was saying, the grandstand or the bleacher sections, it's been around for a long time now, called the Concord Pacific Grandstand. Was a YVR sponsored at some point and KLM sponsored at some point. These are bleacher seats, so definitely not the most comfortable, but you do have a perfect elevated and direct sight line to the fireworks, making it very, very popular, especially for families that want a more affordable option. The great thing is that they open at like 6:30, so no matter what time you arrive, you are guaranteed a seat. Your spots are reserved. You have access to washrooms, and you have to leave to go down and get food from the many food vendors that all take advantage the um, of the crowds down at the Celebration of Light. But definitely a very, very popular option and definitely worth seeing. Um, and then there was this new edition that came the year 2015, I think, that I was planning the event. You'll see here up at the top of the bleachers, there are these tents. These are the luxury lounge works cabanas. This is perfect for companies who want a group booking and hosting, and they have great views and you get food and beverage service and dedicated washrooms. It's actually quite a lovely place to hang out and watch. They're designed with lovely seating from Loungeworks, um, and you can customize some of this, or at least you used to be able to. But it's definitely premium. What I love about all this is that they continue to offer all different tiers of seating available for people. So you have free seating on the beach, you have reserved basic spots on the bleachers, you can get a little more elevated, sort of, shall we say, like a date night kind of thing down at the Inukshuk, or the premium spot up in the lounge on top of the bathhouse, or say one of these corporate suites that you could buy out as well. So lots of options, and it's basically still free for everybody, and options to increase. All of this, believe it or not, all that you're seeing here needs to be set up and taken down for each of the 3 nights. For the most part, all the infrastructure, it's very important to the parks um, that the whole park is available for people to use in between the shows. The shows are like Wednesdays and Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, and they want the beach to be accessible for everybody um, in between those days, because that's the commitment to the city parks department, is to have this park available for the visitors and residents of Vancouver. So every night, a lot of this has to be taken down and re-put up for the next show. The bleachers stay the whole time because it takes days and days for those to get actually constructed safely. But yes, a lot of this has to be taken down for each night and then re-put up. That which can't be is buckled down as tight as it can be, and security is on site to make sure nobody messes with it between show times. So all right, so that's a little bit about what it's like there, but who makes the show happen? All the event planning in the world won't make a fireworks competition without fireworks. So I want to introduce you to the team behind the team, Archangel Fireworks, also sometimes known as Serious Pyrotechnics. Kelly Guile and his team out of Winnipeg has been an instrumental part of the planning of the event for decades. They provide fireworks shows, drone shows, and consult with the event manager all year, production, design services. They do all kinds of major events all around the world and award winning, and they are just a great bunch of guys. So they're always designing something new, and it's always a challenge for fireworks people to find like what is the new thing out there? Is there a new design? Is there a new type of shell? Is there something else that people haven't seen lately? So the event producer meets with Archangel early in the planning process to see what's new in the world and industry of fireworks and to decide which countries will be represented at the event the following year. Now, many people wonder why and how those countries are chosen, and there's a bunch of reasons that it's decided based on. They look at what countries have done well in the past, what countries are doing something new or exciting or creating buzz in the fireworks industry around the world lately. There's a whole community of people. Are there any political or worldwide influencers or influences that need to be considered? Are the people, able to provide a good show for us? Uh, Archangel makes a recommendation, and it's reviewed by the Vancouver Fireworks Festival Society. Remember that this entire event is owned by a nonprofit organization. So they get that first look. They get the option to review what countries are being proposed and the reasons why. And the decision is usually made a good 8 months in advance of the event. Our angel then goes through the long process of working with these three international teams on their designs, the logistics of what they're trying to create, planning, importing the required materials. A lot of fireworks, they don't come from Canada, so they literally often take a slow boat from China to come over, or Mexico. I know that they're also being produced in Mexico. And Archangel provides all the help of getting these imported. They do all the local setup. Each of the countries designs the event at home in their country, and then just brings a small design team to oversee exactly the setup and production of the show. Usually there's only about a half a dozen pyrotechnicians that come from the international team to oversee, but there's a full ground crew of people that are involved with making it happen on the barge. In fact, there's only 4 people actually on the barge when the show goes off. Minimal people on there for safety reasons, obviously. I'll tell you a bit more about how all that happens in a second. So people wonder what happens on the barge. Well, I had the great opportunity to be on the barge several times when I was producing the Honda Celebration of Light, and got to chat and meet with the team and Kelly Guile, the owner and designer at Archangel Fireworks. The barges themselves were sold to the Vancouver Fireworks Festival Society for like a nominal price. I'm going to say $1 or something crazy many years ago, and are stored locally in the water all year round. You may see them come out for Canada Day fireworks and other events that are fireworks involved. Each year there are permits and permissions required from the Port of Vancouver for the location of the barges to their firing spot. The event manager meets with the harbor master to determine the best way to do that and make all the necessary arrangements. The spots are carefully calculated to ensure a safe perimeter around the barge for the firing of the fireworks and any debris that might fall in the area. And they want to make sure that these barges are safe in the safe area from regular sort of major marine port traffic that goes through the Port of Vancouver around there. Vancouver pile driving then actually pile drives the barges into the floor, the ocean floor, so they do not move at all once they are placed for the event at certain coordinates. There is a small shuttle boat that brings the crew back and forth to a small floating platform, but that's about all that they need. On the barge, as you can see, it's not glamorous. Well, while once working multi-purpose barges, these have all been specially retrofitted as fireworks dependent platforms now, where they have the infrastructure required, mostly pits of sand, as you can see. They have a lot of electrical wiring and a special reinforced firing hut. This is where I was saying that there was only like 4 people on board at a time. And this special firing hut that you can see in the back center of this shot is specially constructed as somewhat of a bomb shelter, for lack of a better word. But that's where the few people are during the show, keeps them safe while they oversee the computers that run the show and send time code signal back to the shore to synchronize with the audio soundtrack. The commands that come from the computer program sync up to the team's music, and the rest is all about, firing shells, igniters, and fireworks that go off. So I'm not an expert in how fireworks work, but a little behind the scenes, this is what it looks like. 2 barges host all of the shells. A galley for the fireworks crew, so that at least they can get, basic needs while they're on there, not have to go back and forth to the shore, and the shelter that I referred to earlier. There's anywhere from 2,500 to 4,000 shells, ranging from 2 to 12 inches in diameter, that get set up for each show. And no more than 4 people stay on board during the fireworks show. Kelly Guile, as mentioned, is included in one of those. And this is not an enviable position. Knowing people that, like lay people that have been on barges during a show, it's like being at ground zero during a massive war initiative or something. It's literally bombs going off everywhere, and it's not fun. Let's put it this way. Have you ever wondered how, though, the music and the soundtrack and everything matches up and gets to the PA system, the radio, and all those sort of things? Well, the teams design their show syncing the shells to the chosen soundtrack that they did as part of their design. And once the show is designed, the fireworks team embeds what is called time code into a hidden inaudible track in the music. Time code, if you don't know, is like a media synchronization system that is designed to perfectly synchronize your audio recordings so that you know exactly, what's happening at each moment. It takes the form actually of a sequence of numbers or dots and dashes that can be attached to audio files in order to precisely label the timing, right down to the individual like millisecond. The audio company that is working the event would get the composite track, so music embedded with time code, and at least this was how it was done with the years I was involved. The music would be broadcast to the attendees on the beach through a normal PA sound system. Then the audio is also sent through from the audio company to the radio stations through an internet line, but most importantly, the time code is transmitted from the audio company to the fireworks barge. And it ultimately is what runs the show. It's not coming from the barge out, it's actually coming from the audio company on site, who sends the time code to its various locations, including the barge. So the feed, how does it get there? It is sent with 3 redundant RF frequencies. The main frequency, the backup, and the holy cow worst case scenario third frequency backup to the backup. This is sent RF, so there's no physical link. But when that information is received on the barge into the fireworks barge computers, their control computers, that's what drives the show. Timecode is sent starting at least 1 minute prior to showtime. This gives the operators the chance to confirm the signal is being received properly. And if it hasn't been received properly, despite all efforts 30 seconds out, then the signal is stopped and troubleshooting occurs, and then they resend the signal back out again fresh, all within seconds. Time is ticking, literally, because the audience expects that show to start right on time. Everybody's watching their watches. They've been on site for hours waiting for this moment, and it can't be delayed. So once the fireworks barge operators have confirmed that they have time code, the signal from the audio team, and time code is locked, then the show is going to go. The time code then fires each shell at the programmed interval to create the show that you see timed to the music you hear. Ever wonder about those first few shells you sometimes see just before the real show? People often say, oh, those are the test shells. No, they can't test. What are they testing for? They're just actually pre-programmed teasers. They help build anticipation and excitement for the show. People start getting ready and paying attention and going, ooh and ah. It just helps build excitement. They've done all the testing they can do long before that point. Like I talked about, the event is huge, but it is very safe, and the event's core purpose is to spark togetherness and a celebration of community and music and fun. But as BC's largest live event, we're especially proud to create an atmosphere of celebration, inclusion, belonging that supports and creates opportunities for BC-based businesses and emergent artists, and well, the community at large. The unsung heroes of the Honda Celebration of Light are all the people that work behind the scenes to make the event what it is. There is a small core group of hardworking event professionals that make the event a success. The event producer, partnership sales director, production manager, venue managers, stage managers, audio videos, site crew, and of course, volunteers. There is a wider team of people ensuring that the hundreds of thousands of people get to the site from their communities and home again, and that the event remains a free, family, fun event and a safe event for the citizens and visitors of Vancouver. Transit, SkyTrain, and buses are all increased service for the extra demand that the event requires. Roads are closed to quiet and minimize unnecessary vehicle traffic in the downtown area so that people can walk in the road to the park. Traffic police ensure people and vehicles are kept separate. That's kind of important. And the City of Vancouver police members ensure that everyone is, behaving themselves and respecting the residents that live full time in the area. Vancouver firefighters and BC Ambulance set up several command posts in key neighborhoods around English Bay, so they are nearby just in case. And Vancouver Parks ensures English Bay remains freely accessible to residents and visitors, clean and presentable for daytime use, and is equipped with what is needed to ensure the success of the event. When the public complains, which they often do, about some aspect of the event, perhaps it's the noise or the garbage or crowds, or they didn't like this program, or the event takes up too much of the park, or that it's too commercial with all the sponsors, may I ask that they pause and remember that ultimately this is a very large and complex event that involves months of planning by hundreds of people and attracts hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world who deliver economic benefit to the hospitality industry in Vancouver. It's ultimately a nonprofit event delivered free to the people of Vancouver. The Honda Celebration of Light strives to spark wonder and pride in our community through the creation of free, engaging spaces for the public to gather. Whether you have a long-standing tradition or are new to the merriment, each year the festival offers a chance to connect and make memories that last a lifetime. I know that the 2 years that I produced the Honda Celebration of Light are some of my best memories, and it is still one of my most proud creations. My 2 years of producing the Honda Celebration of Light made me memories that will last a lifetime. And now that you've had the event explained, I will hope you will enjoy it even more. Thank you for joining me on Events Explained.